Davriel Rogue Shadowmage is the card today that goes under the spotlight from the new set War of the Spark. This is one of the new uncommon Planeswalkers from the new set, but the question is it good or is it bad? So let's take a look at Davriel. For 2 and a black mana, we get an uncommon Planeswalker that comes in with 3 loyalty with no plus ability, but does have a static ability. So there's no emblems, but it has a static ability, which is what all these new Planeswalkers are about. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 1 or fewer cards in hand, Davriel deals 2 damage to them. The -1 is target player discards a card. So, on the face of it, it looks pretty good. The first thing that springs to mind to me is a kind of 8-rack deck, discard deck. Seems very, very fun. But is it good? We need to have a look at Davriel and see if it will cut the mustard in Standard. So Davriel is getting a lot of chatter over the internet because people are not happy. Not happy so much about how powerful the card is, although that is one thing as well, is that the story behind it, the lore story, it is just not on par with how everyone wants Davriel to be. They wanted it to be a rare mythic Planeswalker, and they feel because of the story, it has been tempered down just a bit, and it might come later on as the story evolves to become an almighty mythic power Planeswalker, but at the moment we do have a powered down Davriel. So first thing I'm going to look at is the loyalty of 3. Now for me, I do feel like this could be a little bit higher. We've got some other Planeswalker, uncommon Planeswalkers from the set that still cost 3 mana to cast, but they come in with a little bit more loyalty, but their effects are -2, not -1. So maybe if it was up to 5, the effect of the target player discards a card would have to be -2. But I feel like if you just made it to 4, it would have been a little bit better for the loyalty, and then the -1 target player discards a card wouldn't put it to 2, which would put it into shock range, which means it would literally die straight away, potentially, after playing it and using the ability. That, for me, is a little bit of a sore point for me. I would like the loyalty just a little tad higher. And at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 1 or fewer cards in their hand, it deals 2 damage to them. Now, if you're thinking about playing this in EDH, that would be so much better if it was all players, not just rather than at 1 player. Now, it is going to go around, obviously, the table when you're playing EDH, and as it is each opponent, so it's going to trigger each time potentially as well. But if this was all player, it would just be so much of a better card. For me, EDH playable, probably not, although you may play it, you may not. As for Standard, we've got a lot of good discard spells in Standard, so this could definitely go on theme. We've got Thought Erasures, we've got Duress, we've got Divest. We've also, we've got some really other cool enchantments as well. The main one obviously being Disinformation Campaign. That is a really cool card, and when you can flicker that around, really nice when you surveil, maybe potentially doing damage as well with Davriel. So there's definitely a deck that is to be built in Standard around this, but will it be strong? I'm not too sure. I personally will be trying it out because it's going to fit into my blue-black discard deck. I want to see how good it is. It is, you do have to think this is an uncommon Planeswalker, so it's not going to be overly oppressive and really, really powerful. But I just feel that it's slightly underwhelming for me. And, maybe if it was just, like I said, the loyalty was a little bit higher and they changed the wording on the main effect as well, that would make it a much better card for me. Of course, in Standard as well, we still have Raider's Wake as well. This for me is been, it's unplayable for me. But if you want to build some kind of janky brew with this in, Raider's Wake is a card that will definitely fit on theme with the deck. When an opponent discards a card, that player loses 2 life. It has a raid ability as well. So it's definitely a card that's on theme with Devriel. But for me, even in my blue-black discard deck that I'm playing at the moment, Raider's Wake does not go into that deck. As for Modern, I've seen people call it the Shrieking Affliction of the Walker, but when you look at a guild, Shrieking Affliction is, that's 1 mana enchantment that's going to do 3 damage. It doesn't really compare to me. It's not almost there like I've seen people say. It's definitely not as good for me, and I don't think it can really put that slot in. But for 8-rack in Modern, maybe this will find a place in the sideboard potentially, or maybe just as a 1 or 2 of in the main board as well. All in all, I think Davriel will see potentially a little bit of play. I really do like the art on it. I was hoping Davriel would be a little bit stronger than it is, but potentially that is something that will come down the line. Now, in the question of is it good or is it bad, I'm sort of bang in the middle, to be honest. But if I had to, if you had to put me on the spot and say it's really good or, it's bad, I'm going to have to edge toward it's bad, unfortunately. Although I still will play this card and I will give it a try in my blue-black discard deck just to see if it's any good and see if it can do a little bit of work. But the loyalty of 3 is a little bit of a point for me. And obviously for EDH terms, I would like it, having all players rather than just hitting that player each turn. It's going to see a little bit of play because it's a new card. It's Davriel. It's new. It's going to be doing a little, people are going to want to play it. They're going to be pulling it in their packs, and it's a new card. People want to play the new cards, of course. But for me, it's a little bit bad. Not terribly bad, but it's not really good. So that's the next Planeswalker that's come under the spotlight from me. Any others you'd like to see put under the spotlight? It doesn't have to be Planeswalker. It can be other cards as well from the new set. If you want to hear my thoughts, hit me up in the comments. I'd love to know what you think. And of course, let me know what you think of Davriel. Do you think it's really, really good? Are you going to be playing it in standard, modern, potentially EDH as well? Let me know what you think of Davriel, and if you're a little bit, like me, thinking it's a little bit underwhelming, but if you do think it's good, let me know as well. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. If you're new to us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and liking and sharing the videos is a great way to support us as well. I've been Matt from Total MTG, and I'll see you on the next video.